Hello, in this lecture we will see 8086 processor pin configuration and the detailed operation of the multiplexed signals. Now here in this slide you will find that pin configuration, various pins of 8086 organized as per their corresponding groups. For example, to the left side at the top side will be power supply pins, two grounds and VCC. Then next will be clock reset and ready signals, normally used for the initialization purpose. Then next will be NMI INTR, which are hardware interrupt pins. Then test bar min max bar at the bottom. Then on the right side, on the top side will be the multiplex signals. First of all, multiplexed address data bus AD0 to AD15. Then multiplexed address status lines A16 S3 up to A19 S6. Then a multiplex signal BHE bar slash S7. Then the next signal is a read bar, active low read signal. And then there is a table defining dual functionality signals. Within that table, the first column will define the functionality of those corresponding pins in minimum mode operation, while the second column that is applicable for the maximum mode operation. Now we will start here the multiplex signals first. So here multiplexed address data bus AD0 to AD15. So total number of lines are 16 here. So this is 16-bit multiplexed address data bus. Now basically what I mean by multiplexed address data bus. In microprocessor 8086, within a complete bus cycle which contains a number of T states, T1, T2, T3, T4. Out of that, 4 T states in a bus cycle, during T1 state, this multiplex address data bus will function as an address bus. So it functions as the address bus, and then during T1 state itself, it will output the lower 16 bits of address A0 to A15. Then next, from T2 state onwards, namely T2, T3 and T4, in the same bus cycle, this multiplex bus will be functioning as the bidirectional data bus. What way it is used? It is used for transfer of data in the direction defined by the instruction. And user or the programmer defines that particular instruction here. It means that direction of data through that data bus, it depends on that particular instruction which is written by the programmer. Okay, if that instruction is used for reading data from external device, memory or IO device, in that case data will come towards processor. It means that data bus will be functioning as the input bus. Whereas whenever we are sending data to external memory or IO device, in that case data from the processor will be flowing out and it is going to that corresponding externally connected device. Now as I have already stated here, that is, bus cycle of 8086 processor is normally 4 T states, T1, T2, T3 and T4. and it is under the assumption that no wait states are inserted in that corresponding burst cycle. Now, why we need to insert wait state? Wait state need to be inserted in the operation of slower devices like memory device or slower IO device. In that case, operation of that burst cycle cannot be completed within that stipulated 4 T states here. That's why some additional T state to be inserted between T3 and T4, and that is in the form of wait state. Always the integer number of wait states are inserted in the operation of that slower speed device. But otherwise, if the devices are fast enough and they are capable to carry out that corresponding burst cycle operation within that 4 T states, then there is no wait state to be inserted between T3 and T4. Hence, the burst cycle will be of T1, T2, T3 and T4 only. Now the next multiplex signals here, multiplex bus here is multiplexed address status lines. It contains in all 5-bit multiplex address status lines, and these are address bit 16 multiplex with status signal S3, A17 with S4, A18 with S5, A19 with S6 and BHE bar signal along with S7 status bit. So these are the 5 additional multiplex address status lines here, and those are different from multiplex address data bus which were 16. So the total number of multiplexed lines in 8086 microprocessor are 21. Again, just like multiplex address data, the functionality of address status also in the same manner. During T1 state of each bus cycle, these 5 lines, they will function as the address bus and BHE bar signal, of course. It means that through these multiplex address status lines, during T1 state, processor outputs MSB 4 bits of address A16 to A19 and also processor outputs BHE bar signal. Okay, you are not supposed to be confused here. The representation of BHE bar signal, okay, putting over bar on BHE is really difficult in the presentation. That's why it has been shown in this way. Then from the T2 state onwards, these multiplex address status lines, they function as the status output lines here, S3 up to S7. And the status output line, they provide the status of the microprocessor. And various types of statuses are defined here. Even some of the status lines are used for control purpose as well, controlling some of the design parameters of the microprocessor. We will see later on. Now here, the function of two status signal S3 and S4, and it is clearly stated in the heading itself that it is used for the designing of larger segments if required. Now what is that status signal S3, S4 indicate? See here, the status signal S3, S4 indicate or they define the segment in access in the current bus cycle, the bus cycle which is in progress. This bus cycle might be referring one of the segment, and which segment is now in access by the processor, that is indicated by this S4 and S3 status signal. You can observe it. Okay, deliberately that S4 is shown on the left side in this table and S3 on the right side, because S3 is the lower bit, S4 is the higher bit. So higher bit on the left side, lower bit on the right side, so S4, S3. And then the third column will be access to segment. Whenever status bits are 0, 0, it means that 8086 processor is accessing now extra segment. If it is 0, 1, then processor accessing stack segment in the current bus cycle. 1, 0 means processor accessing code segment or none of the segment, no segment. And whenever 1, 1, processor is accessing a data segment here. It means that in the current bus cycle, which segment is in access, that will be properly indicated by S4 and S3 status signals. Now, out of these 4 possible entries here, that 1, 0 is most important, code segment or none. Okay, we can very well understand that whenever execution of the program is going on and whenever certain instruction is getting fetched from external code segment, by that time 1, 0, it is very sure. But when that access to segment is none, this access to segment is none whenever processor has completed the execution of that corresponding segment, corresponding program, execution is completely over. In that case, processor is still running, but it is performing only no operations. And within that no operations here, none of this segment will be accessed by the processor in each of that subsequent bus cycles. So once that task is over, program execution is over, if you observe the status S4, S3 bits, it will be 1, 0, indicating that processor is not accessing any of the segment available there. Now, these S4 and S3 signals, status signals, sometimes they can be externally decoded to have each of that segment of 1 megabyte. Now already I have stated, even in the pipeline operation of 8086 processor, that the normal size of segment is 64 kilobyte. But sometimes 64 kilobytes of segment size is found insufficient. We need a larger size segments. So one design is possible to define each of that segment of 1 megabyte in size. That is, exceptionally large segments of 1 megabyte each can be defined, and that is possible by using these 2 status signals here. But for that purpose, these 2 status signals need to be externally decoded. You can observe it here. At the bottom, it is a 2 to 4 decoder. The input will be S3 and S4 status signals which are connected. Output of that decoder will be 4. Active low outputs normally, because most of the decoders having active low output only. Then above that 2 to 4 decoder, that address A0 to A19 in a completely demultiplexed manner, means separated address part, which is shown here, that is of 20 bit. Then you can observe it here that this 20 bits of address bus 0 to 19 is connected to first segment, that is of extra segment, that is the extra segment of 1 megabyte. And you can observe it that selection of that extra segment is from 0, 0 selection logic from the output of that 2 to 4 decoder. And the earlier table which is shown on the top side here, 0, 0, that is selecting extra segment here, accessing extra segment. It means that the status S3, S4 will be decoded at the output of the decoder, first output of the decoder, which will be selecting a memory space of 1 megabyte, which is nothing but the extra segment here. Similarly, 0, 1, the second output line of that 2 to 4 decoder, as per the table which is given on the top, stack segment is to be accessed. So here is a stack segment 1 megabyte, same address bus is connected in parallel, and the second output line of 2 to 4 decoder 0, 1 is connected to the selection of that memory space of 1 megabyte, which henceforth we refer as the stack segment. Then from the third entry of the table 10 is a code segment. So here third output of that 2 to 4 decoder 10 will be selecting a code segment memory of 1 megabyte. Address line still connected in parallel manner. And then the last part here is last 1 megabyte, which is selected from the output of 2 to 4 decoder, the last output line where selection is 1, 1. And as per the table also 1, 1, it is selecting a data segment, a memory space of another 1 megabyte. It means that address will be connected, demultiplexed address is connected to all 4 1 megabyte memory sections, whereas selection of each of that memory section in the form of segment will be from the output of 2 to 4 decoder, and input for that decoder is nothing but status signal S3 and S4. In short, in a larger design where larger segment is the requirement, we can view that this entire memory of 4 megabyte is the addressable memory by 8086 processor here. Now next is about status signal S5, S6 and S7 status output signals here. First of all, S5. S5 signal that gives the status of interrupt enable flag. This interrupt enable flag, it decides whether to enable or disable that general purpose interrupt request line, hardware pin INTR. And the status of that interrupt enable flag, whether that particular flag is set or reset, that will be reflected within the setting of that S5 signal here. If that interrupt enable flag is set, then S5 will be obviously 1. And if that interrupt enable flag is reset or disabled, in that case S5 will be 0. Now next signal will be S6 status signal here. It defines which device is controlling system bus. Now here the device means the processing device, processor or auxiliary processor, and certainly not the IO device or memory device. Now this S6 signal is more appropriate in the maximum mode operation of the processor here. And whenever we are getting S6 is equal to 0, it means that 8086 microprocessor is controlling system bus. And whenever S6 is equal to 1, it means that any other bus master device like 8087 NDP numeric data processor or 8089 IOP IO processor is controlling the system bus. It means that in the maximum mode operation, in order to decide or in order to give the status that which of that processing device is controlling system bus, whether it is main CPU 8086 or any other bus master like NDP or IOP controlling system bus, that status will be reflected in the setting of S6 status signal here. Then the last status signal, that is S7, is a spare status bit. No functionality has been assigned by Intel at the time of design. Now next will be the BHE bar signal, because BHE bar signal, it has been multiplexed along with S7 status bit. But this BHE bar signal alone cannot be used. That's why BHE bar signal is used along with A0 address bit, the LSB address bit, in a memory system design, and how it is used in that memory system design, that we will see. A part of that memory system has been shown here, showing odd bank. We know that in 8086 processor, we are having memory banking. Odd bank of 512 kilobyte and even bank of 512 kilobyte. Out of that, odd bank is shown here. It is 512 kilobyte, so address lines after demultiplexing 1 to A1 to A19 connected here. 19 bits of address is connected here. Control signals are connected, like say memory read, memory write, like. And then you can observe it, this odd bank is connected to upper data path, that is D8 to D15. And this bank is enabled, odd bank is enabled by using BHE bar signal. Now here, the full form, bus high enable, BHE bar. When the signal is active, odd bank will be enabled and transfer of data will be through higher data path, D8 to D15. So enabling of higher data path is possible by using BHE bar signal here, bus high enable signal. That's why the name. Now, A0 address bit, which is shown at the bottom here, LSB address bit, A1 to A19 connected on the top side, connected directly to odd bank and also passed on to even bank, which is not shown now. But A0, that is LSB address bit, which is shown at the bottom, single bit, that is used for enabling the even bank which is besides this odd bank on the right here. Same address lines 1 to 19 connected to even bank. Same control signals like memory read, memory write connected here. And this even bank is connected to data path, which is lower data path D0 to D7. And this even bank is enabled by using A0 address bit. In short, A0 is used to enable even bank of memory, and BHE bar is used for odd bank of enabling odd bank of memory. Of course, that BHE bar and A0 is not to be used only in case of memory system design. It is equally applicable for IO system design as well. But memory system is shown because I can connect the address lines in a proper way and you will not be confused. Now, the function of BHE bar and A0, whenever both are 0, 0, enables of even and odd bank are active low. So both 0 means both the banks are enabled. It means that through lower data path and through upper data path, transfer of data will be possible. That's why 16 bits of data transfer will be performed here. Then next will be 0, 1. BHE bar is 0. That's why odd bank is enabled. But A0 is equal to 1, even bank is disabled. Of course, through that enabled odd bank, through that upper data path D8 to D15, 8 bits of data transfer will be only performed and no transfer through even bank because it is disabled. Then next possibility 1, 0. In that case, BHE bar is 1, so odd bank disabled. But A0 is equal to 0, even bank is enabled. And even bank is enabled so that transfer of data will be through lower data path D0 to D7 and it is just 8 bit. So it is clearly stated 8 bit data transfer using lower data path D0 to D7. And then 1, 1, it means that BHE bar 1, odd bank disabled, A0 is equal to 1, even bank disabled, so no transfer of data that takes place here, no transfer. So this is all about that multiplexed signals here and their corresponding operations.